On tonight's episode of Dolphins After Dark, I'm joined by Neal and Jennifer, and we're going to tackle some topics of discussion coming out of the preseason game. Like, for example, should the Miami Dolphins still be as concerned as we all were before the preseason game when we saw guys like Jack Driscoll and Sean Harlow out there? But with the injuries piling up, should they be scouring the market for some offensive line help? Also, is wide receiver depth one of the biggest weaknesses on this team right now? And are the Miami Dolphins becoming bullies on defense? We got a lot to talk about. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and as always, let's get into it.
Touchdown! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field on the near side, man open, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it over the touchdown again! Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. And lesson learned, I did not update the intro on StreamYard, but that has now changed. So we'll see that on the next StreamYard video. Appreciate all y'all for coming in. We are live on Twitter and YouTube right now. Already well over 200 of you are in the room. Appreciate all you coming through. If you're on YouTube, do me the favor, smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Neal, Jennifer, Brittany couldn't join us tonight. The one night we finally have something new to talk about, and NFL action has happened. Brittany is got a lot of stuff going on to get ready for tomorrow, so she wasn't able to join us today. Let's start with you, Jennifer. How you feeling after watching the Dolphins play their first preseason game and your boy play his first preseason game in silver and black?
Oh, you got to do that to me? You two are the a-holes that scheduled a space for the exact time it was announced that he was signing with the Raiders. So it's fitting, I suppose.
Oh, did we? I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We did.
That
and
was
then
a
you
victory lap, Jennifer, because last summer no one wanted to believe us what he was asking for. People said they were spreading rumors.
I still think y'all are wrong, but that's fine. I don't care. But congratulations to him. And yes, I did watch him and it was sad. But either way, I'm very excited that football is back.
What was sadder, Jennifer, watching him in silver and black or seeing the quarterback situation he has to deal with in Las Vegas now?
The worst part was seeing Van Gink on the other side. Like unexpectedly me seeing Van Ginkel looking like the actual Viking on the other side and them not being together. And them, I know, like looking at each other longingly across the field. Like, why aren't we together? You know? But either way, I'm excited for everybody that football is back. I'm not going to lie, I haven't done much except watch football in the Olympics.
Did you see that Australian breakdancer? Please tell me you saw the Australian breakdance.
Of course I did.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh, I did. I saw it all. But it was an amazing weekend of sports. Long weekend of sports. Loved it. I was super pumped to just see like Hard Rock on TV again. It was fun. I loved it. I loved seeing Anthony Weaver.
So did I.
I liked that aggressive defense. Yeah, I liked a lot about what I saw.
Other
than the quarterback play.
You know, and you know, there's nothing questionable about me.
No,
that guy's got a smile that guy's got a smile that'll light up a room, eh? Anthony
no
Weaver,
kidding.
It just I don't
He
know,
was
man.
even-
I love the energy from him. I just
Me
love the
too.
energy. He got the
Me
towel
too.
on his neck like he's Mr. Perfect.
Loved it.
And I
Loved
love listen, I know Christian's gone,
Yeah.
but I love what we saw. And I get it. It was against 2, 3s, and 4s, and guys will be stocking shelves in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I love what we saw from our run defense early on.
I thought it looked good. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna be a hater. Like I can be sad, but not be a hater.
Neal, how are you feeling coming off? I mean, Jennifer brought up the Olympics. This is like the first Olympics I can remember in a while that I was kind of like, for no reason whatsoever, I just wasn't following along as I usually love the Olympics. So how are you feeling? Tom Cruise doing his best Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 13 impression, right? Coming down, or whatever, was it 13 when he came down and he beat Brett in the Iron Man match. I don't know if you saw the post Olympic ceremonies, but Tom Cruise is out here ziplining to the middle of the stadium. Like, what is happening right now? And Dolphins football is back, man. So how you feeling?
Yeah, man. I know it's the preseason, and I know a lot of these guys won't be on the team when all's said and done. But any taste of Miami Dolphins football, is a good taste, and I'm glad to have it back.
WrestleMania 12, by the way. My bad. It wasn't 13.
Yeah,
it was 12.
Yeah, 12. That was the Iron Man match. But I think what was cool to see about the Dolphins this year is that we know it's a dogfight for all 53 men on this roster. That bottom half or the bottom quarter of that roster is going to be really interesting, and there's spots that are up for grabs. So, I thought it was awesome to see. Like, just didn't matter what level of the defense it was. It was like watching a Baltimore Ravens preseason game. You had hats on the ball. They were flowing to the ball fast. They were explosive. They were playing with swagger. We haven't seen our defense play like that at any level for a long, long time. And I think it's good building blocks. And a lot of these young guys stood out, man. And this rookie class, and if you partner in the undrafted rookies that they signed, I mean, when you take and digest what we saw, the story to me was Anthony Weaver first and foremost. And second was that rookie class looks like it could have a lot of gems. And it seems like a lot of people that were down on Patrick Paul early, might be eating some crow, because Patrick Paul looked way ahead of the curve of where I thought he would be at this point. Yeah. And I was as high on Patrick Paul as anyone I've heard of. And, I've tweeted this, he was going against a second-round pick, Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State, who was the number 38th pick just a year ago, who's a really good football player. And Patrick Paul was eating his lunch. And then, the guy needs no introduction. What I saw out of Jalen Wright, superstar potential, man. That was awesome to see.
Ricky wants to know how he says, Neal, how was your SummerSlam experience?
Oh, dude, it was unbelievable, man. I like that card from top to bottom. It was awesome.
That was good. It was good.
We're making the trip arrangements now. We are going to go to Indianapolis in January for the Rumble, or February, I think it is this year. I think they moved it to February, but we're starting to get that all booked now too. So my son's going to get 3 of the big 4 pay-per-views all in the same year. So
nice.
He's lucky.
I actually thought SummerSlam was better than Mania. I'll go on a limb and say it. It was good. All right, so let's get into this. Let's start off with something we've talked about all offseason, the Miami Dolphins offensive line. I thought Sean Harlow looked good when Keon Smith went down. I thought Jack Driscoll looked better than what I saw at joint practices and what we had read from reports leading up to the game. Now, Aaron Brewer, obviously. So I was there for the hand injury. Basically, what happened was he went to the sideline. The trainers were all looking at his hand. He went to the medical facility that's like right there. Went to the medical. He was back out on the end of the field. When Rondell Moore got put in that boot, he was back already, and he was on the field. He was at the end zone, foot on his helmet, watching the defensive side of the ball when Rondell Moore got hurt. So he was only like out of sight for like maybe 10 or 12 minutes, and then he was back. Like, the feeling we got was it might have been like a laceration or something of that nature. Okay, so he's no update on Wynn. I mean, I know Alf was on sideline T and told the girls that, he he's asked Butch, where is he? Oh, he's in the building, and he's called him out and said, no, I haven't seen him at all. I've been telling people I've been trying to dig on Isaiah Wynn for the past couple weeks. I gotten 0. So Isaiah Wynn is the unknown mystery right now. What are you guys thinking? Should this team be going out looking for some O-line help?
Well, obviously, I mean, don't ask me that. You know I'm going to say yes. But I will say someone told us that they saw him at either the first padded practice or something like that. But he still was like sidelined. But just the fact was in the building, he's not like Santa Claus or like I don't know, like that he exists. Do we think we need O-line help? Yeah, obviously we freaking need O-line help. There's no doubt about it. Our center came in, new center, with allegedly a lingering injury. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at OTAs, he was injured. Then this injury, also the backup is freaking Liam, and he's the starting right guard, allegedly. Also just an absolute problem, and there's no starting left guard. So no, Santa is real. I'm just saying it's hard to see him. Just no one lays eyes on him. That's all. It's like Kaiser Sose. They're real. You just don't see them, So, yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. There needs to be O-line help. And that's like a whole theme throughout the entire league. We're not the only ones.
Yeah, well, I'll say this in terms of the offensive tackle, I actually think our group is as good as it's been since we had Brandon Albert, Jawan James, and we had just drafted Tunsil, and we let him play at left guard. So I think we're good at offensive tackle.
Yeah, but that's fine.
No,
interior.
In the interior, I think all 3 positions are a question mark. Every one of them. Yep. I thought Aaron Brewer was a decent signing, especially given the contract. But I feel like he came here injured, and now he's got a new injury, and that scares me already. I don't have any faith in Liam Eichenberg, and I don't think Isaiah Wynn's an unknown. I think he's a known. Is that if he plays, it's a miracle. I think that's why you get him for such a cheap contract. I think that's why you get him for the contract you do.
But here's my thing with Isaiah Wynn, right? Okay, and I've said this. I don't know if you guys have heard my take on this, but this is what I got to tell you guys. This is what's confusing on the situation about me. Do you guys remember during the playoffs where reporters were talking about how he was walking around in the locker room? The quiet rumblings were, if we went to the AFC Championship or God love us, the Super Bowl, Isaiah Wynn might have been back because he was trending towards coming back in a few weeks.
I didn't know that.
Close. Yeah, like that was all that like some of that was news and some of that was like rumblings behind the scenes and stuff. And now we're at the fact where, like, Jennifer said, man, like, this guy's turned into the ghost of Christmas past.
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah. So it's very confusing. Like, did he have my question is, did he have a major setback?
Yeah, and you wouldn't know because they're going to play poker and they're not going to tell us. But I'll say this: the Jack Driscoll signing is going to turn out to be a really good signing for this team. He did
biased.
No, I'm not. Though. I'll tell you, like, he played really well. I thought he'd be a good role player, but I think he's a better overall football player than Liam Eichenberg. I really do.
Probably is.
If the team gets out of their emotions and stops this commitment to Liam, but they need, like, Mark Lewinsky is a guy that I've been talking about for about 2 or 3 months at this point, who could go in at right guard, has a lot of experience, over 70 career starts. I know we've all talked about the James Daniel thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. And I hope that they pay attention to some of the, like, the guy who I can't believe they haven't signed yet, to be honest, is Phil Haynes. They had him in here for 2 workouts. Like, he's the perfect depth type of player.
Guard spots too.
Yeah, he's the perfect signing for what.
No,
they
you know
need
what? I'm
right
shocked.
Now, but
I mean, Aaron Brewer goes down. You just had Scott Quisenberry working out a few days prior. How are you not bringing Scott Quisenberry in? What is happening right now?
But you're right, Reason. John Harlow did look pretty good. I was surprised to see that because I honestly, I looked at old.
You know how they had him at left guard in the game. They had him at and they had him in center a little bit in the game too, if I remember correctly. But when I saw him at joint practice, they had him working at center and guard too. So, I mean, he looked decent. But again, do we want to rely on these guys? Scott Quisenberry has legitimate starts at center. Mark Lewinsky or Phil Haynes have legitimate starts at the NFL level at right guard and left guard. Like, we want to roll the dice on unknowns. Like, see, this is what keeps gnawing at me. We all, as fans, realize what's on the line here this season in terms of expectations.
Yeah.
They know what's on the line in terms of expectations. I mean, they're starting meetings at 24 minutes past the hour to acknowledge it's been 24 years since a playoff win. So
which is why we started. That's why we started 24 minutes late today. Also, in solidarity.
Yeah. Well, a reason I don't think it's going to happen. But we've talked about it. James Daniels would be the perfect player to add to this team. I just don't think it's going to. I don't think that it's because. I think it's because the $8 million that he's on the books for. I think they operate shrewd, and when it comes to paying the interior, even though it's the last year of a contract, like I feel like they don't want to eat $8 million. But he'd be a perfect guy that has. I mean, he was on the Remington watch list when he played at Iowa as a center. And, in the NFL, he's kicked over to right guard. He's going to have a hard time finding playing time in Pittsburgh, not because he's not a good player, but because the draft board – they
just
stole
stop
Zach
it.
Frazier and Troy Botnu.
Yeah.
And he's a really good player. And
Roderick Jones.
Yeah.
Well, this staff, Chris Greer, spent a lot of time with James Daniel during the draft process. He was on our board. Like, I was surprised that we didn't take him actually in the draft from the things I had heard. So – he'd make me feel so much better about this offensive line, but I don't think they'd pay $8 million. I think they're going to go get a guy for like 1 year, $2 million, and whoever that may be remains to be seen. But I don't think they're going to spend anything more than that. I think they just operate very frugal when it comes to the interior offensive line.
Which is crazy considering, like, try and remind me the last team that made it to the Super Bowl and won with a bad offensive line. You had a one-on-one in Patrick Mahomes, and he was running for his life against Tampa Bay.
Literally none. And like Brittany and I were talking about this. I don't know if she's still in here or not. And just like, talking about like just philosophies about like, well, this tree just doesn't build inside out, which is very weird and foreign to me and to like a lot of people. But like, prioritize weapons and, it's hard to kind of wire your brain to think that way, but it also makes sense in certain ways if you look at it. But then again, what have you done? Has it worked? How many fucking championship games and Super Bowls have you been in and lost because of it?
Well, and I think I do.
And not because, but.
Well, and you'd also think with Tua's injury history, there'd be a little bit more.
That's what I'm talking about. That you would just like, when you are so weapons heavy on top of it, like, you already have them. You don't need to just say this. You know what our philosophy is? Build inside out. Like, get strong in the trenches. You don't have to. Your identity is the exact opposite. So now get a player for $8 million and just shut up.
Yeah. You know what I think they might be a little bit concerned about? I think it's deeper than just paying him $8 million this year. I think they know they either got to trade for him and extend him.
Yeah.
Or they
exactly.
Or they think they're going to trade and say, okay, we'll wait on it. And they know in this system,
then they're going to get
James Daniels.
He's going to look.
Price is going to go
look
up.
Great.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. He's
a really right back in square one.
Well, but $8 million. I'm sorry,
agree.
Neal. I'll let you go. $8 million to go all in for the year.
Give me him in a 7th, and I'll give you a 6th. I'll do exactly what Cleveland did with Seattle today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Neal. Go ahead, bro.
No, I think it's a Mike McDaniel thing, and here's why. If you remember when Joe Thuney was leaving the Patriots, right before they franchise tagged him, like literally 20 minutes before free agency kicked off,
we were going to sign him.
It was the Dolphins and the Jets, and the rumor was that Joe Thuney was prepared to come to the Dolphins, and and then the Patriots said, "Oh crap, we're going to lose our best offensive line to a division rival. Let's slap the franchise tag on him." And then he's gone, to Kansas City, obviously, and remained one of the best interior offenses. But like a stud. Yeah, we were prepared to pay him, and what we did? I think that is when we pivoted, and then we spent big contract on Emmanuel Ogbah, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
So to me, it's like, if Greer was willing to do it before, right? Like, because the price tag on some of these guys is insane, but I would be way more inclined to play a guy like Joe Thuney $20 million than Robert Hunt, right? Like, it's not even close for me. But like, it's not, something's missing here, because I look at that game the other night, and I am so excited about what I think this offense could be because we already know we have Tyreek and Waddle. We already know we have Mostert, A-Chain. We've improved greatly at the tight end position compared to what we've had historically. We did bring in a savvy veteran like Odell Beckham. You know, we stole Jalen Wright and Malik Washington in this draft class.
Yeah.
We've secured offensive tackle. Like, we literally we're not
tackles.
asking.
Yeah.
Right. We're not asking for you to go find the Larry Allen, right? We're asking you to go make a good, modest move to improve this interior.
Just get some
It's like,
stability and guys we can rely on.
For under $10 million.
Yeah.
But pay them, pay people what they're worth too. Like, they deserve to get paid too. Like, you don't need 20 million like Robert Hunt got, obviously, but it's clearly a position of priority. It clearly affects our, bottom line, right? When this line goes down, the entire team goes with it.
It's true.
You know, the tip of the spear thing is so applicable here. And so to get somebody for relatively reasonable money seems like just such a smart
you know
move.
what's crazy, bro? You know what's crazy? Listen, okay, let's go back up to your area and where you live, and let's talk about the Patriots dynasty for 1 second.
Yeah.
They had one of the greatest offensive line minds and head coaches over the last 25 years in Dante Scarnecchia.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we know Belichick was reluctant to pay weapons, but did Belichick and Scarnecchia ever bargain bin shop on the offensive line? They always made that a priority to take care of. And if they didn't have guys they always went out and they took care of it. I mean, look at the guys they drafted. What was the Michigan guard they drafted?
They drafted Logan Mankins. They drafted Matt Light. They drafted so many guys.
Oh, they drafted Matt Light.
Who's the Michigan kid?
Michael Onwenu.
I loved him coming out.
Yeah, man. But he was also Mike Onwenu was in the 6th round. 5th or 6th round, I believe.
But I loved him coming out. I was high on it, very high on him.
No, he's really good. And they finally but you know what? Guess what? They finally paid him after Belichick left. You know what did we do with the line? We gave away Shaq Mason, who was probably one of Bill's
Was this after Dante left though?
Yeah, it was one. Yes, it was. But it was one of Bill's favorite players, period. We gave him freaking Tampa Bay for a 5th round pick. I call it a ham sandwich. I think to protect freaking Tom Brady. I legitimately think. So that's why I thought they should do us a solid. With maybe their tackle.
And that's a perfect example of why the Dolphins, what you just said, though, they did it to protect Tom Brady, right? And Tom Brady wasn't a guy that could really create. He was a guy that in the pocket was as cerebral as any passer that ever played this game. And we're hoping that Tua could be even quite, on the same. He'll never get
quicker.
to that level, but you know what I'm
saying.
He can
be quicker, right?
But he's that you just signed this quarterback to the biggest deal ever. I will never forgive this front office if the wheels fall off because of the interior offensive line. They will.
No, I won't
be
either.
Dead to me, and I will not come back on them, and I will not be Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows because it's such an elementary thing that 3 of us on a podcast are talking about on a Sunday night, and they have $37 million to go remedy this. Right? I don't care about next year's cap.
And it's not that sexy, it's not that hard, and it's not that expensive. It's not like the Patriots asking to sign Ayuk for $32 million and begging him to come here. We're talking about paying an interior lineman a relatively decent salary for them they'd be happy about. Come to a place where you might win. I mean, honestly, they might take a little bit of a discount to come and be a part of this offense. And like what you said earlier, to know that when they're about to leave, the quick release, the scheme, the weapons they have are going to make them look freaking elite when they go to get a new contract.
And look at we talk about $8 million, but look at that compared to the markets right now. Look at that compared to the market right now. The market is heading towards at least $15 million for a decent guy. So $8 million is really not that big of a hit on the chin. And when you actually look at, you just lost a guy who hasn't made a pro. Everyone knows I love Robert Hunt, but let's call it a spade. You just lost a guy who hasn't made a Pro Bowl and All Pro for $20 million, and you better not be complaining about having to pay a guy like James Daniels $8 million because we're gonna have an issue here. And the issue here is, I mean, Jen, you made it. You guys talked about it. We're set at tackle. The issue though is
it's not that hard.
you are letting the leaks come through the quickest path to the quarterback in the interior.
Yep.
And I know you guys haven't been down there yet. Tua, I will say this though, Tua looks effing nimble this year. Like,
He looks really good.
He's moving up and he's shifting through the pocket really quick and he's taking off. Like he's not waiting for that protection to hold up.
He's
But
gonna
we need
have his best season of pro, no doubt.
Yeah, but we need to protect him, and you got to protect him there. Like you gotta, you really have to.
Well, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous because
James
what Neal
Daniels-
said. I mean, this is the biggest investment you've ever made in a player, and you want to play Russian roulette with that interior?
Yeah, and James Daniels honestly would embrace my concern about the offensive line.
Yeah.
Like because then all that does is push one guy. It's probably Liam Eichenberg.
To the left guard.
I look, Liam Eichenberg for $4 million is actually a pretty good interior depth backup, right? Like to have center guard versatility. I'm not going to sit here and start apologizing for Liam Eichenberg.
I understand.
But if he pushes him down the totem pole, then it makes a lot of sense, right? Like because it's going to be more expensive to go fix this halfway through the season if that's what they try to do than it is right
That's a good
now.
point. That's a great point.
Right.
Like,
But who is the?
Well, they
Go
just
ahead,
proved
sorry.
that they want a receiver, right? Like they're after Brandon Ayuk, and I feel like they're going to get egg in their face because I think he's just going to turn around and work out some deal with the 49ers. What can we do? And obviously we're not trading Tyreek or Waddle or Beckham or Malik Washington but could we give him like an Eric who's a
Trade a
comma
tight end
and a fifth round pick?
No one's taking Eric as a comma, bro. The guy can't stay healthy. Trade a tight end. Trade a Fortson, or if he's healthy, trade a Tanner Connor.
Yeah, give him.
I'd rather trade
Fortson.
Fortson than Tanner Connor.
Give
to
him
be honest with you,
Fortson.
because you put
they
this
need
much
corner.
into development into but then you look
And
at them,
Jody can't stay in the field either.
Well, the problem with them though is they've got Freiermuth and they've got Darnell Washington. They drafted.
Yeah, but they
last-
wanted. All right. So what's happened to Ayuk in this scenario? Because I
know.
too many
eh?
teams.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying. Yeah. So if the 49ers wanted Ayuk, wanted Freiermuth now, or in one scenario,
Did they?
I don't know. One scenario. Who the hell knows? I was lost in the sauce.
Yeah. I'd rather trade Fortson because you've put this much work into the development and growth of Tanner Connor, and you finally got a little bit of a shine before he got hurt. Now he will be 27 next year, but I would keep Tanner Connor over Fortson if it came down to acquiring a James.
I would in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
Hey guys, I got a good one. Who's their running back right now?
Is
it Najee still?
And Jalen
Yeah.
Do they want Do they want Chris Brooks?
They split. Oh.
Instead of us losing him, trying to shift him to the practice squad because he was running pretty hard. Well, we give you Chris Brooks.
Let me give you a name. How about Nick Needham? They need corner help. We have.
No.
Yeah, but think about this. We have Ramsey, Fuller, Cam Smith, Bonner, and Cater Kohu as our top five. Sure, Needham could be the sixth.
Yeah, but he also is going to move around interchangeably at safety. And you can't have enough cornerbacks. Hell no. I'm not giving away Nick Needham. It's not happening. Sorry. Give him Cater.
I'd give him our sixth corner for the starting right guard.
The problem is
for the starting right guard, yeah.
The problem is we don't even have a wide receiver. Like, we don't even have a wide receiver. Like, let's say the Ayuk thing falls through for whatever reason. We don't even have like a decent option. Because we don't want to give up Malik or River Craycraft because they're our best option after the top three. No one's going to want. I don't even know if Walmart's going to want Braylon Sanders or Willie Snead, let alone a football team. So, what are the options, right? They're like
Neal. You meant straight up for Daniels?
No, with a pick.
Maybe a late pick. Like we're on pace right now to have 10 picks. So a 1, a 2, 2 3s.
No. Yeah, I wasn't.
2
I didn't hear.
Yeah, so 3
I didn't hear
7s.
everything you were saying.
There you go. What about Barrios?
Yeah, take him.
Sure.
Although somebody's got to return.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Malik.
I don't think it should be Malik though. I don't like. This looks too dangerous. I don't like it.
That's why I don't
like
want
it.
Tyreek or Achane back there either.
No Tyreek, no Waddle, no H.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep Braxton.
Yeah.
for fucking returns. Oklahoma drills.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped out to me, Jennifer, when
No
I was watching
way.
the new rule in live action. I'm
Absolutely
like,
no.
yo, these hits are gonna add up.
Nope.
Like,
No way you're putting anybody back there for
and I ain't
real.
putting
I'm
right
sorry.
back there either, Scotty. Sorry,
Hell,
bro.
nope, me neither. I
No
would
way.
put somebody trying to earn their keep. I'd put Liam back there. Somebody.
Jeff Wilson. I don't know if Jeff Wilson makes a team because from what I saw, I would keep Chris Brooks over Jeff Wilson. Maybe send him. Let's talk about this for a second though, because this is kind of a good segue. Are you guys now? Would you guys consider wide receiver depth one of the biggest weaknesses on this team? Because Braylon Sanders can't catch a cold. Willie Snead, slide him right in there. Because do you remember Braylon Sanders' rookie season when he came in and against Buffalo and he dropped that bomb from Tua that was like perfectly over the middle of the field? It's been 3 years and this guy still can't catch a football.
Same shit.
Willie Snead, even
Yep.
in joint practice, he looked off.
Just go away.
Snead.
Yeah.
Once you get past River Craycraft from Malik Washington as 4 or 5, we usually keep 6 or 7 receivers. There hasn't been anyone that stepped up and really stood out. I mean, Kyrick McGowan is neck and neck from what I see with, Braylon Sanders and Willie Snead. We just picked him up off the street. How unimpressed were you guys with the wide receiver depth?
So it's hard to judge because the quarterback play was such excuse my language, trash. So I don't really know how you want me to judge them. To be completely fair,
I agree it was trash, but there were some like even Jeff Wilson had a terrible wide open drop. Like there were some bad drops from that crew.
I don't think it's great.
It
but we're not
long
seeing
ago when Willie Snead was making pretty good catches in Baltimore, right? Like it's ironic to see how far he dropped off. But I think we know who 5. I think we know who 5 the guys making the team are: Tyreek Waddle, Beckham, Malik Washington, Craycraft. That's 5, and then I do think Barrios is going to get that 6th spot. I do.
Yeah, I think it's easy. I think that is what it is, and there's no doubt about it. And like Craycraft, he had the weird drop, but it went out, and there's no way he's not being back with McDaniel. Yeah, he's solid. He knows everything. That's a solid 6. There's no real doubt about it.
Practice, right? Because in joint practice, I was seeing.
Oh no, I like him. Too. I actually like him. I have no problems.
Like we had our ones out there and they had their ones out there, and Craycraft, other than Tyreek and Waddle, were taking the day off. But on that second day, Craycraft was freaking solid, and so was Malik.
No, I agree. I like him. He's not cool. Who?
I mean, it's the best wide receiver room in the league. Maybe 5 and 6 are a little questionable, but with Tyreek Waddle, if Beckham is what he was in Baltimore last year, and Malik is what we've seen here. I mean, it's the best receiving room in football.
Yeah, that's the only question, I suppose, is OBJ, right? But I think Malik is going to be that dude, so I'm really not worried about it. And I just never see River going anywhere. Like, they are too locked in. He knows it too well. He's dependable enough. I think he's really good. I think he's like the Durham Smythe of the wide receiver room.
Gotcha.
Great analogy.
You know what I mean?
Kind
of. Yeah.
And it seems like him and McDaniel are, real tight
totally.
Too, right?
Yep.
So, But yeah, what did you guys think of Malik on night 1? He looks explosive, eh?
I've been waiting for Malik.
He looks explosive. I mean, wait till he has a good quarterback throwing him the football into space. Oh my God. I mean, even that Tanner Connor throw. I mean, Tanner Connor was wide open and he still had to turn his body and adjust because the throw was behind him.
Yeah.
You could have thrown him into space and he wouldn't even have to probably break the tackle.
Look, if you break this down, right? Because we didn't see Chop, we didn't see Mo Kamara, but we did see Pat Paul, Malik Washington, Jalen Wright, Patrick.
We saw Grayson.
Look, it's one. Yeah, with Grayson Murphy. I don't want to jump because it's one preseason game. The best draft of Greer's career is obviously 21 with Waddle, Phillips, and Holland. But, it's easier to do that with 2 first-round picks. Like, this draft class has the making, if Chop Robinson is what I think he's going to be something special. Jalen Wright, to me, that combo with him and Devon Achane that's going to be here for the next few years. I'll be honest. Like, I love Devon Achane. Reason you love Devon Achane, I think he's going to come and flirt with being a top 10 running back in this league sooner than later. I think Jalen Wright might be as good or better. I really do. I think he just has that vision in space and the speed to burn angles, man. And he
Oh, it
looks so
looks
good.
so good. It looks
Malik-
so good.
And he's
Malik
210
Washington,
pounds. He'll take on
Right.
contact. He'll run through the gaps. You were seeing how explosive he was in and out of his cuts. He was showing his vision and his patience. He was just following his blocks, right? Letting
Yeah.
Patrick Paul do his
Yeah.
thing and then just
Oh.
boom, hitting the hole and exploding through it. I mean, you know what I was thinking about? These guys are going to get paid. Like I was thinking about in 3 or 4 years, Wright and Achane, we're only going to have one because they're both going to get paid. That's how I view it, which is a good thing to have.
and they're so different, and it's beautiful to see, right? Like they complement each other so well. So, but yeah, Malik Washington, like if any of these guys we're talking about have the potential to be the steal in this draft, I have a feeling Malik Washington is going to be good enough that Odell Beckham's going to be on a pitch count for most of the season until the end. And I think Odell was signing more for November, December, January.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000,000%. Yeah.
I
It's
think
perfectly
Malik
fitting.
Washington's going to get burned, and he's going to make plays. And like we also have to, they made those plays, and I know it's against backups, but these are rookies playing their first meaningful snaps of football, and they carried that offense. The
Even the
quarterback
UDFAs,
play,
bro.
right? It was abysmal.
Oh, speaking of UDFAs, don't neglect my guy.
Yeah, good block. He did.
Who was blocking? Who was blocking for all these people? Hayden
Oh,
MFN Rucci.
He did have
yeah,
a
he
good
had
block
some
on that
good
touchdown.
blocks.
Right.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he was. And not just the
And
touchdown.
you know they
I
love
watched
guys
the
that
whole
can
time.
block.
I
You know
looked
they
for
love guys.
49 all night long, clearly, obviously.
He'll make practice squad. He's going to be on the practice squad.
That's what I'm hoping. I think
And they're
it'll
going to
happen.
develop him. They're going to work
And
on
that's
his
what-
routes and his yak ability, and they're going to develop him as a pass catcher. He's already showing the moxie. He's already shown the moxie of a blocker, so you know they love him. And it's
Of course, he has the moxie of a blocker.
It's the
He's a
same thing with
third
Julian Hill,
generation
but he's
NFL
quicker.
talent.
But
Sir.
he's quicker than Julian Hill. So if he can become a better route runner and he can start flashing the hands a little more, they might
And-
have another guy.
Well, but also reason it's not like he doesn't have hands. He was obviously the led receptions for tight ends at Wisconsin with 11 because that's all that they do is run the ball. But but this man blocks. His dad was a freaking tackle. His brother's a tackle. He's been scraping, clawing against giant beasts of men his entire life. This dude is a baller and a dog. And I just think he's absolutely going to be on the practice squad, but I hope no one takes him.
Hey, Jen, his brother's the tackle at Penn State?
Yeah, it's Nolan Rucci. He's 6'8".
I just
Yeah,
watched him.
so-
Actually, I didn't know it was his brother. Yeah, I just watched him last
Yeah,
week.
so I've been preaching boop, 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 about it.
Yeah,
But
you're the
yeah,
fan
so
club.
well, but why not? I go with my guys. I get my gut about my guys. I go with them, and it panned out all right so far, I would say.
Well, give me Wisconsin guys. Give
except
me
they're
Iowa
gone.
guys. Yeah, those guys, they
All
bring
right.
their lunch pail to work. Those
Yeah.
guys block. Yeah,
Yeah,
like those
but
guys.
but they're obviously from Pennsylvania. Little brother followed him to Wisconsin, and then once he graduated, he went back to Penn State, where both of their parents are in the little Hall of Fame there, and badass MFers, and I won't say the actual words.
We got over 400 people watching
the
on
Rucci
YouTube.
crash
We got
course.
over
This is the
730
Rucci.
watching
Yeah.
in total.
Go
right
look at him,
now.
Neal. His
Um,
brother is 6'8", left tackle named Nolan. He's a bad bitch.
I did a tape breakdown on him last week. I think I like him. I think I have
Yeah.
a 5-6 round grade on him.
And so imagine just them growing up in the same house with their father, who was an offensive tackle. These dudes are dogs. Don't estimate,
Right?
don't underestimate the and their grandpa played for the Baltimore Colts. Actually, shout out to you, Neal, Baltimore. So don't underestimate the pedigree here.
So like I said, over 740 people watching, over 400 people on YouTube alone right now. Smash that like button. Okay, so let's move on to the defense a little bit. I kind of hinted at the UDFAs because we even saw Storm Duck do his thing. Isaiah Johnson looked good. Mark Perry had some decent reps and showing the athleticism. That late round pick got my game ball. Patrick McMorris was an absolute machine.
Amazing.
Curtis Bolton was a freaking machine. just from what you just said, I mean, that boy Grayson Murphy looked like, he looked like he slowed down a little bit after the injury, but he started off like a bat out of hell with that tackle for loss. What are you guys' feelings? I mean, I was there this past week. I mean, what, 2 fights and 2 like brouhahas on Wednesday. On Wednesday, and then on Tuesday there was a couple fights too, and then we just saw how these guys were, playing in the trenches and the nastiness they were playing with. Neville Gallimore, flexing his pass rush ability a little bit, and even flexed Neville Gallimore out as a big end at one point. What are your guys' thoughts on it? It seems like Jalen Ramsey's little speech about them being bullies is really resonating with this defense right now. Are you guys getting the sense that, we got some bullies on defense this year?
Go ahead, Neal.
I think the demeanor of this team has changed. They're not going to get yelled at for running on Grandpa's front lawn anymore, right? Like, this team, they're able to play who they are. Those young guys, they're fighting for, roster spots. I mean, that first play when Grayson Murphy stuffed that dude, like, that's a tone-setting play by an undrafted guy, right? Like, that stuff is contagious, man. I mean, like, look how hungry that team looked. Like, we had a Channing Tindall sighting, and oh my God, did we have a Channing Tindall sighting, right? Like, every defensive lineman that got out there, Brandon Peely made some really nice plays, a couple tackles for a loss. Jonathan Harris, I mean, Neville Gallimore, you saw these guys consistently making plays. If this defensive line is better than we anticipate, this defense as a whole is going to be really, really good because their back seven is better than it was last year. So I think you are going to see this team. I mean, if they continue to play like this, man, like that was my problem with the team last year is they get to these games that we call these measure stick games, get punched in the mouth, and they would go to the sideline crying like a bunch of babies, man. Like, I want this team to punch first. You know what I mean? I want you to punch first. And that's what I think we're going to see with Anthony Weaver. Anthony Weaver has a style reason. You were kind of talking about it to start this thing off. Everything I heard about this guy, I'm already starting to see the early glimpses of this. And, man, this is early. And I can't wait. This is year one. I can't wait till this guy starts getting the draft picks that he wants to allocate to the defensive line. And what he does with Mo Camara and Chop Robinson. I just think Anthony Weaver is going to go off being one of the better signings of the whole offseason for the Dolphins.
Even Isaiah Mack was good. I got to give Jason Stamps his props for. What did
really
you think
good.
from what you saw at the defense, Jennifer? It seems like they got a little bit more of a nastiness to them, eh?
I loved it. I like the more aggressive approach. Where I like that's what I like. I like a nasty defense. I do. That's how I learned. That's what I know.
Pause.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Pause. I don't know, but I do. Like, that's my favorite part of football. Like, weird, like really tough defense. Like, grind it out on offense. Like you don't deserve it. And then like punish them on defense. So I love it. And I thought it was pretty dope. I was excited about like seeing Nick Needham back, like looking like himself. I thought was pretty cool. I thought that I gotta say, I thought Mick Morris was really good. I thought that Ethan Bonner was so freaking good. Yeah. I thought it felt like I told Neal this earlier. I felt like he looked like he could accelerate like almost like at will on a video game, like press a booster. Like he'd be running with you. And then like if he needed more, like he could press a booster and get there. And then if he didn't get you there, he'd bite your freaking ankles off.
Yeah.
And he'd be the person there literally trying to break your ankle down at the bottom of a pile. And I'm all about that. Like, I thought it was great, man.
It's got that burst,
just nasty
acceleration. Yes. I mean, and he can mirror very well, stick to your hip, or he can play the football. He can play you at the catch point too. I mean,
but when he had to, just like it's like pressed an extra button.
Right. I guess Fangio was right, eh? I guess we got to give Fangio his props. He was right on that one.
No, I'll take a grumpy old man's view on football like all day, every day. I will take Bill Belichick, Ernie Adams, Dante Scarnecchia,
Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells, Jimmy John. Like I'm taking these people's freaking views on football all day, every day, and it all adds up. But I thought Ethan Bonner was, I thought he's pretty dope.
He's good.
Well, Tyreek's been telling us for 2 years, right?
Yeah, like always, like he's literally begging for people to know how fast this dude is, right?
Yeah. Joe Holt says time for the O-line to join the bully club. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I was just gonna say, but we're looking at this without freaking Zach Sealer, and Calais Campbell, and and I'm giving time to like
Jalen.
No, but I'm looking at and I'm giving time to like Jalen Phillips. Yes.
And David
Jalen
Long,
Chubb,
right?
and David and everybody else. Like I'm giving everybody like
freaking
time.
This front seven's gonna be, and you know why? Because
It
they
looked
finally
good.
upgraded that second level. Even the depth on the second level is showing up. Man,
It looked really good.
What did you think, Neal? You getting the bully sense from this defense a little bit now?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to punch first, man. I love what I saw. I think this defense looked. We could preference everything with saying it was the first preseason game, but some of these guys are fighting for their livelihood, so I don't care, man.
Wait, Neal, can I add one other person? Because I totally forgot. Saran Neal, I should just say.
Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta say.
He was good before
I just thought it was. I know, but it was like I'm not letting anyone say anything before I.
And Jason Maitre too, eh? For
good,
UDFA, Jason Maitre is like, I know Jen was talking about it earlier. You can never have enough corners. It looks like all our UDF corners like belong. Like all of them belong. So
I'm into it. All right, sorry, Neal, you go ahead.
No, on the Ethan Bonner front, I do think it's worth noting that when you hear Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill talk about corners that they go against in practice, they're not talking about Cam Smith, man. They're talking about Ethan Bonner, and they have been for 2 years. And if this guy can develop to being a starting caliber cornerback, what that will do to the longevity of Fuller and Ramsey here is just great to see, because they'll be able to be more versatile. Ethan Bonner looks like he belongs. Even on that one pass he gave up, I think it was Chris Kaufman posted it.
Mask.
It was a clear offensive face mask. So, like, Ethan Bonner, he's the story of training camp so far, right? Like, he has to be the guy, right?
Yeah.
And even if not, you're a corner, you're going to freaking lose, right? Like, it's okay if he lost a rep, no big deal. But he legit looked, I don't know, he looked really good. And
he looks like he belongs. He does.
Can we also say, in fairness to Cam Smith, though, the majority of the Google Gaga-ness from his teammates from Ethan Bonner has been his speed. So if Cam Smith was running like a 4.2, I'm sure they'd be Google Gagaing over him as well. In all fairness to Cam Smith, I mean, I got to say that a lot of the Google Gaga-ness has been over his speed. Now Ethan Bonner is showing he can match that speed with high level play. So I'm not taking away from his play at all.
And just at the bottom of a pile, like ripping people's ankles off.
Yeah.
Do you see him?
Yeah, he's got a dog in him.
He's just like not stopping.
Yeah. Okay, we got to talk about this. I got to get you guys' opinion on this, okay? Because we all love Omar Kelly or whatever, and he's out here talking about Jake Bailey's booting it consistently for 60 yards. Jen, Neal, when this guy kicked from our own 11 in that preseason game and it went 39 yards to midfield, I almost threw myself out a window live on YouTube. Think about this for a sec as I talk. Give me your opinion on what, and I get it, the holder issue. I get the holding because Jason Sanders looks a little bit more consistent as we've gone from Morstead to Bailey as a holder. But give me your thoughts on why Danny Crossman is being so stubborn with Jake Bailey, because you got the punter that's, staking himself outside. They asked him the week before I went down for training camp, they asked Crossman. Crossman says, well, he's getting here at 6 a.m. Well, I get here at 3 a.m. Crossman shows up, this kid shows up at 2:30. And then over the next couple of days, they asked him to go across the street. They actually asked him to move once Crossman got knowledge of it or whatever. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Why is Danny Crossman being so stubborn and so committed to a subpar punter? Is it just because they think he's a good holder? What are your thoughts?
Ladies first.
Now, Neal, you first.
Danny Crossman,
Or
he should be fired. He sucks. Right? Like, can I just
Yeah.
say that? Like,
Yeah.
Jake Bailey's awful. And meanwhile, Matt Araiza's punting 75 yards punts at Chiefs practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we have grounds to say this too, because remember, we've seen an elite special teams coach when Darren Rizzi was here, the guy who found Jason Sanders, right? So we've seen what an elite special teams coach is. And my friends, Danny Crossman is the furthest thing from elite.
Well, if you've been a Dolphins fan for a long time, man, this team has a tradition of having good punters. Reggie Roby, Matt Turk. There's a lot of guys, right? Like Jake Bailey, we saw it last year. We were all not happy when he got a 2-year extension. I don't get it. It makes no sense. The love affair doesn't make sense to me.
What do you think, Ben?
I would think this goes more to the process of it. So I used to work in like film, like production or development, and you couldn't just send a script to the building, right? You can't just like send your script to Robert De Niro and have him develop it. Why can't you do that? Because there'd be a billion lawsuits if he actually took your script and then used it, and then you could sue him for $1 billion, or he could sue you or whatever, right? So my guess is this has something to do more with process than with talent, and not setting a precedent for people who think that they should be able to send their script directly to Robert De Niro, or, you know, showcase their talent for Chris Greer just because they sat outside the building. I think it's more a process type thing, because you can't set a precedent for doing something like that. And that's why I think that this has absolutely no freaking legs.
Well, I agree. This
Literally.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
This isn't a Disney. This isn't a Disney movie. That great for that guy for shooting his shot, but like I don't want them to pull off a punter off the street either. Like I want them to.
No, I agree. I agree,
and
and I'm giving props to the guy for doing it. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Oh yeah.
I never considered that there was a world in which like process worked that way, and I didn't see it till I worked there, and they said, no, you can't submit something unless you submit it through your agent. The reason is because we now are like legally liable for potentially stealing it. So I think there's just a precedent that they don't want to set, and that's my guess. I don't think it has anything to do with talent. That's all I'm saying. Yeah,
100%.
All right.
Yeah, there's a process in place, and you can't just bastardize the process because some guy's a feel good story. With that said, who knows? That guy might be a better punter than Jake Bailey, because honestly,
you guys might be better punters than Jake Bailey. Jesus Lord. What happened to the old day when I was coming up and playing in high school and college, when the backup quarterback was the one who held the football?
Well, now the thing is, now he can get an agent, and then he can go and actually try to deal with it like through the channels that are acceptable to people, I guess.
Maybe he needs to put out videos of him holding the football, not just punting it, and they'll
correct.
Danny Crossman will be all over it.
Actually, the way that you get onto this team as a punter is for holding for the kicker.
Well, the real question is, can he play guard?
I mean, that's true.
Can he play guard? Yeah, that is the real question.
Any position.
That's hilarious. All right, let me ask you this before we get out of here. Okay, so I gave mine. I gave Patrick McMorris was my my defensive game ball. Patrick Paul and Jalen Wright were split for me on offensive game balls. If you could give an offensive game ball and a defensive game ball from what you saw in week 1, who would you give it to? We'll start with you, Jen. Go ahead.
Well, damn. I didn't know that was happening. I would say, honestly, I'm gonna give it. You know who I'm giving to my offensive game ball to?
Hayden Rucci, yes.
Hayden freaking Rucci, number 49. Let's go. Do you know how fun it is? Like, you know who talked about him? I guess 3 weeks ago, and I was annoyed because I talked about him like a bagillion months ago.
Who?
Juice. So okay, Juice. You know how good it sounds to say Juice in a stadium? It sounds just as good to say Rooch in the stadium. No, but OG and I legit usually are like on the same page, and I think we are about this. So that's my offensive game ball for my own purposes, but also like I want a dude who blocks. I like him on the practice team. Like, let's go. That's what I want to make the team. Defensively and or special teams.
Yeah, sure.
I would say Saran Neal. Like,
Yeah, he was good. He was good till he got hurt. Yeah, for sure.
and then otherwise Nick Needham, welcome back. Let's freaking
That was
go.
a big pass breakup.
I
And
love it.
Yeah.
It was big.
Yeah, it
And
was.
I don't care about the touch. Like he knows.
I mean,
he knows. But like to see our guy come back, like our UDFA hero, like defensive back, like getting, like coming from a very serious injury, not being able to like reach his potential last year during his rehab, but to see him come back as a leader on the team and all that stuff, and very versatile player, UDFA DB. I'm all in. Let's go, Nick Needham.
Who would you give your balls to?
I was gonna say, wow. Honorable mention definitely to Patrick McMorris and Isaiah Mack. I think
it was good as hell. Games. Yeah.
I got to give it to Siren Neal though. Him stripping that ball and recovering it, like and even in the bigger picture, right? His snaps on the defensive side of the ball are probably going to be limited, right, because of the depth of our secondary. But dude, do you remember on that opening kick? His coverage was elite, man.
It was so good.
Like, and it's
like in a phone booth.
We've signed a bunch of guys over the last few years that we've taken off of teams that just never really developed into those special teams aces. That cliche. I think Siren Neal is going to have a big part of this team, and in a big game, someone muffs a punt and he jumps on it, right? Like those are how you win games that you're not supposed to win. So that was awesome to see. On the offense side of the ball, for me, it's not even close. It was Jalen Wright. That play where he caught that ball and switched fields, not many people have that ability, and that was vision. That was feel for the game.
Yeah.
That was elite speed, eliminated angles. He, just find, how fast he hit that hole to score that touchdown. We've seen the clips of those two back-to-back 10-yard runs. His contact balance was sensational. He's Braylon Allen, and I don't want to give competitors too much for the Jets, looked really good in his game. The only rookie running back that looked better than him was Jalen Wright for the Dolphins. So, I thought Jalen Wright was sensational. And I'll tell you what, I know he scored a lot of touchdowns for this team, but Raheem Mostert, he's got to start feeling a little uncomfortable here because the two guys behind him both might be better than him right now.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And he knows his role. He knows his part, and he'll still get a lot of
there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, that's not cause for freaking panic. That is okay. That means, you're just, moving forward in the direction your franchise should go.
Yeah, I agree.
To be fair. But don't freaking panic.
We had over 800 people watching us between X and X and YouTube tonight. Over 425 of those on YouTube. So smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll give you guys each 30 seconds. Final thoughts.
I'll go. The Commanders are in trouble this week. If you guys saw what Garrett Wilson did to that secondary and Emmanuel Forbes last week, and we saw what Tyreek did to the Commanders when we played them last year, I think the Dolphins are going to embarrass the Commanders in joint practices and, and probably even in the preseason game. And, the win losses in the preseason don't mean much in the big picture when you're looking at standards, but it tells me a lot about the depth of your team. And you need to have that type of mentality, when you're fighting for your life or a career and a path that's been your dream since you were a kid, right? And win, lose, or draw, right? Like, I want to see that type of effort. And, again, it's a meaningless win, but I'd rather be on the positive side of the scoreboard than not. So kudos to the Dolphins. They looked very prepared. They look like their draft class is serious, and they look like they're a deeper team than they've been in a long time. So I'm excited to see how this shakes out for the rest of the preseason. And, we'll get to see probably a few more starters this week. So, and I think we'll get to see the debut of Chop Robinson. So I'll definitely have my popcorn ready.
Final thoughts, Jen?
I'm super pumped to see the whole defense for real.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah. Anthony Weaver. Yeah. Everything about it has me super pumped. I can't wait. I think the places where I thought it would be sad. I think it's gonna hold up. Like, and then to finally, like, not finally, but I don't know, to deal with the secondary. I'm pretty excited about it. I like the aggressive. Oh, I couldn't take the zone shit. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited about a little aggressive front. I can't freaking wait. And I can't wait to see actual quarterbacks. Like, let's be serious. Oh my God. The one reason I really wanted to say, holy shit, I can't believe it took me this long. I've been watching the game in the background, so I'm sorry that I'm distracted.
It's all good.
Again. But what I will say is I don't want to hear a single person talk about how our backup quarterbacks suck, and they absolutely do. But do not even think about bringing the Mac Jones energy here.
No.
I don't care.
No chance.
No, he looks
I don't
awful.
care.
Get that punter guy from out front of the stadium, man. Don't get
Yeah. No.
I just don't want to hear. I don't know who watched it yesterday. No, it kind of makes sense, actually.
No Whack Jones here.
No, but did you watch him? And do you think
he wasn't
about
good.
Right? I'm just saying RPO shit. Just like, let's not do it.
No.
Like, let's please God, don't let it happen.
I agree.
There's only one backup that makes sense, and we don't want to have that talk.
Yeah, that's Ryan Tannehill. All right, guys.
I know.
Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We'll probably be back next weekend after the second preseason game. Until then, I'll see y'all tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 practices, then a joint practice on Friday. See you then. Fins up.
Bye, y'all.